Hello, my name is Brandon, and this is a Decentraland plot. If you look around, you'll notice that some of the places around you have cool stuff. And if you look at the other places, you'll notice that it's just grass and trees, and just default landscape. So today I'm going to teach you, how to basically turn your Decentraland plot from something that is default and, in my opinion, kind of boring to something that's more elevated and cool and interactive and all the cool things that we love about Decentraland. So let's go. Follow me, guys. All right, we are gonna start with getting to the Decentraland website. Decentraland.org. That's fine. That's worked. That's perfect. 9. Cool. Create. On the top, you're going to see these create in Decentraland. Right? Cool. Download the Creator Hub. I'm just going to do this so I know that it's up to date and so you can see the exact steps that I take. While this is downloading, I also highly suggest VS Code. VS Code, Visual Studio Code. You're going to download this, and instead of you digging through the files, like I'll show you real quick, Decentraland scenes. So whenever you make a Decentraland parcel, this is what automatically is made for you, right? All this stuff is made for you. But what makes the Creator Hub and you making your own parcel special is this assets folder, right? So if I go to the scene and models, these are each models that I have uploaded into Decentraland myself. These are custom models. So in theory, if I make a model, like a 3D model that is completely unique, I will be the only one that have that model, right? So that's the power of this. So instead of Visual Studio Code, instead of you like going through all these folders in like your file manager, Visual Studio Code is going to be what we want to use. So Decentraland Creator Hub and Visual Studio Code are going to be the two things that I'm going to be using. Okay. Welcome to the Creator Hub, right? Sign in. I'm going to sign in. So welcome to the Creator Hub. Let's go to a new one. Scenes. On the top, there's home, scenes. There's a manage tab. There's a learn tab. There's a more tab. So there's all these things. If you want to make an event, that's probably one of the ways to do it. But I'm going to go to scenes and I'm going to go to new scene. Right? And these are all the templates you can use. You can just plop this on and use it. So I'm going to do a empty scene for now. Let's call it Brandon Manus _ tutorial _ world. And then this is that project path. You can set this yourself. I set mine to be this folder that I showed you right here, Decentraland scenes. So we're going to create that real quick. And what this is doing when you press create, right? It's making all of these files right here. That's basically what's needed to make a Decentraland parcel, and it's putting it in its own folder. So right here. So see all these files and folders. This is what is made when you press that create button. So now, okay, now we have the Decentraland Creator Hub open, and this is the world that we made, right? So off rip, everything is going to be default. What you're looking at, this center screen right here, this is your play area. Your play area, right? This is where you do things. Left side is what's in the scene. So the camera, the scene itself, this is like the list of stuff over here. On the right side, details. So change the name, change the detail, description, the thumbnail, all those things. Down here, the asset packs. All of these things here are inside of Decentraland already. So like if you want spooky stuff, there's a Halloween tab. And the way these work is you click it, hold it, and you drag it onto the scene. And boom, it's right there, right? So in the Creator Hub, you put something down right there that's inside the world. you have these tools up top, right? Like moving, you can move it X, Y, Z, you can rotate it, you can scale it, make it longer, shorter, whatever you want. So that's those buttons up there. If you want to do something a little more cool, let's say you didn't want the normal Decentraland assets. If you click this local assets folder on the left side, and then you look even more left, there's an import assets button. Click that, and I'm going to bring in, so I found this lacrosse stick that I want to use. I'm going to just double click that, and it brings up this little screen, import assets. This is the lacrosse stick I made, and it says it's named lacrosse stick. I press import, and it gave you the data size as well, that 250 whatever kilobytes. That's important. So now we have imported it. There is the asset packs, that's the pre-made stuff, and then there's your scene. This scene folder right here will have a models folder, and there is that lacrosse stick I just put in there, right? So lacrosse stick GLB. There's this thing right here, the preview's kind of not showing, but that's okay. We're going to pick it up and drag it onto the parcel. And look, there is our lacrosse stick. I'm going to rotate it real quick. Boom. Move it up. Boom. That is there, right? So if I press this preview button on the top right, what this is going to do is bring up a test world, a kind of isolated private world for you to test what you're doing on right now. The power of Decentraland is it is a giant open mapped world. You can see everything and all your friends doing stuff, right? Before you put something live on Parcel, it has to be made. That's what we're doing here, is we are making it in the Creator Hub, and then we are testing it in this private world. And you see this world is not even the full map, it's just a parcel of like, I'm going to guess 10 by 10 or some shit, 22 by 20. So you get this private world and you can do whatever you want with. There is the lacrosse stick I just dragged and dropped. Because it is just a GLB, it is just going to sit there and do nothing like a GLB. That's just there. That does nothing. It has no code. It's just there. That is where the beauty of VS Code comes in. So I'm going to go back to the Creator Hub here. And also, I'm going to half screen this right here, right? So we put the stick down here. But if we move it, you will see this update and it be shifted over. So if I put it in the corner, you'll see this world update and it'll be put, I was looking at the wrong way. It'll be put in the corner. So that's the beauty of having the Creator Hub and this test world open at the same time. Another layer on top of this is going to be, you press this code button. Since we installed Visual Studio Code, this is what comes up. And please don't be scared. Please don't leave me yet. Trust me, it's going to be worth it. So if you look on the left side, all of these words right here are just your folder that you made. So you're just inside of that same folder, but in Visual Studio Code, right? So what matters here is the source folder. This is your source folder, right? Another place that matters is the assets, scene, models. So there's that lacrosse stick I imported, right? There's that GLB. So this is just the model. But if I wanted that lacrosse stick to do something, like, let's say I want the lacrosse stick to, when you click it, it grows 20 times in size, and then it goes back to normal, right? If you want things to be interactive and coded and stuff, this index.ts file is where you do that at. Okay. So I'm going to use AI real quick. This right side over here, this is all the AI part. I'm going to copy this, paste there, and say, I want this asset to be displayed at the corner of the parcel, and when clicked, it will grow 20 times and then shrink back to normal. And then I'll say, this is a Decentraland Plot. Boom. Okay. So now this is how you use Visual Studio Code with AI. You can obviously just write your own code and just import it and paste it right here. But we have AI, so I'm going to use it. On the bottom of the screen down here, you'll see an X and a like warning sign. Those are your problems. So right now, just off rip, you see this little number 3. There's 3 problems here in the tsconfig JSON. So just so you're aware, this is your problems, your alerts, and it'll have the name of the file that's wrong with it. And you can also see the alert right here on the left side. So if you go back to the right side, we see that the AI is working. It's checking to make sure it's got all the right docs, SDK7. If you're going to be doing Decentraland coding and parcel stuff, SDK7 is the current SDK as of 2026. So just keep that in mind. And there it goes. It's going to keep going. So I'm going to let this go, and then I'll come back whenever we're done and ready. And never mind, it literally finished as soon as I said that. So just so you're aware, there's a lot of things happening on my screen, but I want you to understand what's going on. So I split my screen into a few parts. Top left is the Creator Hub. This is obviously the Decentraland thing we're talking about. We imported the lacrostick into the Creator Hub, and the lacrostick is just a 3D file. This lacrostick right here. What we then did is press the code button, and when we pressed the code button, it opened up Visual Studio Code, which is what I suggested you use and get used to. So when we got into Visual Studio Code, we went and found the lacrostick on the left side over here, and we copied the name, and we gave it to the AI and said, hey, I want this lacrostick to grow 20 times when clicked. And what you do is you're adjusting the index.ts. The index.ts is like the scene's Bible. It reads that every single second and lives its life off of that Bible. Whenever you change the code in that Bible, it'll live its life based off of that code. So that is what's happening here. So I told it I want the lacrosse stick to grow in size, and because this code updated the index.ts right here, and we have the preview scene already up, we already have a live update. So see the lacrosse stick in the ground, it says click to grow. Click it. It's not doing anything. It's not doing anything. So stick is inside, round 90 degrees, rotated on side, 80 space. Also stick, it did not grow on. So the code updated, and I told it that it was in the ground, and it said, okay, so it lifted it up a little bit. I'm going to keep that code. Oh, look at that. So now, all right, cool. So this is the stick right here, the one that I'm looking at on the right side of my screen. This stick is the stick that we just plopped in. We dragged and dropped the GLB over here. So now there's 2, right? So you should see 2 here. Yeah, 2 lacrosse sticks. Those are just regular GLBs that I dragged in. This one right here is coded in. And the difference is its instance in a sense. So this scene up here with the 2 on the left side corner, if you'll notice the triangles, because these 2 GLBs are actually on the scene themselves, they're taking up resources. Whereas when you code the lacrosse stick into the scene, it's not taking up as much resources, and it's just drawing the data from the file itself versus displaying the data in a sense, in a very broad sense, if that makes any sense. I know I just said sense like 4 times, I'm sorry. But when you drag and drop an asset into the parcel, it does use a lot more resources to actually display that thing. So if you can code your assets in, and it'll be a game changer. But for beginners, it is best to just drag and drop and put things around like that. So there is that. I'm going to delete the drag and drop lacrosse stick and just work from Visual Studio Code from here on out. So Visual Studio Code, we have it open, and it is there ready to go. I told the AI on the right side here, hey, I have this lacrosse stick file, gave it its whole file name, and said I want it to be clicked and grow 20 times whenever it's clicked. It gave a first rendition. The first rendition didn't work. And I said, hey, that didn't work. Please change it. And the second time, look at that. We have a lacrosse stick that grows 20 times. So this is a basic rundown on how to do a Decentraland parcel. I will do one more thing just so you can get a good glimpse into how I do things. So here is my parcel. I'm going to go to import assets and I'm going to install Red's room. Red's room. Cool. So now that is imported through the Decentraland Creator Hub. I go back to Visual Studio Code and I go to my scene assets models, and you'll see Red's room right there on the left side, right? So I click it, I right click it, copy, and I'm still in the index chat. Cool. So let's go back to the index.ts, and then let's open up the parcel. So this is the acrostic, that code is still there, right? And unless we delete that code from this parcel index.ts, it'll just stay there. Now that being said, it's coding. So if you import something and it breaks your code, you have to fix that code. So it's done with this thing. I'm going to press this keep button. And look at that. Now we have that entire 3D model imported, ready to go. And it has its own colliders. You see his hands going up on the wall. Colliders means you can't run through it, right? So now I have this entire apartment inside of my Decentraland plot. And because it is being instance and not being actually like drag and drop, like watch, if I go to this creator hub, I go to their red room, and I drag and drop it. And then one thing I never explained is this little button down here. On the bottom left of your little play area on your creator hub, there's this button. Scene optimization, triangles. You only have so many triangles for a 1v or a 1-1 parcel. So that being said, a 2-2 parcel has more room to play in. It gives you a higher number of triangles, higher number of entities, higher number of materials, higher everything. Same thing goes with a 4x4 or 6. There's different levels to this thing. So if you want to build a giant mansion, you need to buy at minimum 4 parcels to have something good. So see how now this GLB right here that's in the creator hub that I dragged in is 1, way too high in optimization, and 2, now there's 2 of them here because this one is the drag and drop GLB. The other one is coded in through instance. So I'm going to delete this one and go back to my code. And inside my code, you can see create acrostic and create red room. And the position, this is a position right here. So I guarantee if I change this one to 2 and I save it, now the scale is 2. So all these random little numbers in here, scale vector, position vector, all these things, you can change those manually. Just make sure you don't mess anything up. Control Z is your best friend. See, look, that's 0. And that's cool. That gives a cool... That's interesting. I've never done that before. So this is the coding. This is what happens when you code in your assets versus just drag and dropping them. You have more power. You have the ability to make them interactive. You have the ability to add anything you want that's in parameters of Decentraland. So thank you. Thank you for being here. I hope you learned something. I hope you get to see how some of us are doing things. Import until you can't. Play with them until you break them. You can only break so much. Love you. I'll see you later.